first a little bit from the when the game is up on multiplayer, so I'm just bringing a bunch of spare bales up to the forage dealer to sell for DS Agri, and you'll see they have earned a fair bit of cash. Guys hammered out a few more baling contracts and then got really stuck into, and you'll see in a moment, clearing out the huge excess of bales they had. So that's just Mark bringing the Fent and the baler back from a couple of baling contracts. The idea being that, as you will have seen from the thumbnail, we need combines. So yep, I think this is unexpected bill loading up the silage bale. So yeah, guys got everything cleared out, which has given us a huge cash injection as we move into harvest season, which is where we're going to get to today. So just selling a little bit of milk. We in June, actually in July, May and June, we only had a few cows producing milk, so we didn't get that much over the last couple of months. But as we tick into July, we have 24 calves due, and that means we're going to have almost 20. I think we're going to have at least 30 cows producing milk, so the milk production is going to go through the roof, which is really nice because I'm still paying the wages for these guys working at DS Agri. So yeah, it's my money's going down constantly as theirs goes up, but we're about to rectify that and transfer some money across, because there are a few things that we need to procure to be able to do any harvesting. Obviously, you know, we are severely lacking in combines. There are lots of harvesting contracts, and so that we don't avoid, so that we can avoid losing them with what happened to some of the other contracts, I'm on the DS Agri farm at the moment. I'm accepting every single harvesting contract that is available. By the end of the video, there are, I believe, 30 harvesting contracts waiting for the guys to get stuck into over the weekend. So it's going to keep them quiet, hopefully. Yep, so you can see we now have 24. So actually we're going to have 36 cows milking, I believe, which is going to be quite a bit of milk. Obviously not as much as if we were running full animal food edition. We are running the modded version by Nightcloak, which has slightly more realistic profiling of milk production. Let's buy a combine. So thanks to Mark Thor for sending me over an early version of his Ford Dominator combine. This is going to Mod Hub at some point, so you guys will be able to get access to it. I'm going to go for the tune version. I figured 300 horsepower wasn't that cheaty. It's an extra 40. It's not that much in my mind. You know, someone's fettled with it a little bit. This has a lot of options. It does require a real dashboard. Although I'm not putting on any of the clever electronics because we're not that far through the generation or the decades yet. Sorry, it's not generations. It's not FSG series. We do decades here. So yeah, we're not that far through. So we are going to put a number 1 on it, and I am going to put a name on it. Farmer R, that's for you. Yeah, so our first combine is called Amy. So there's a whole load of options that you can go through. You can have, if you're going really nuts with your combines, you can have double-digit numbers on these things. So yeah, lots of really cool options from Mark. You can have it with a 20,000 litre capacity. I've only gone for 10 because 20,000 felt a bit too unrealistic for this. But yeah, it's on its way at some point. I have no idea when. There is, I haven't heard back from Mark actually, but there is one bug that I have found in this, which you'll see at some points in the video. So 70 grand for the combine, which is not too bad. And we're going to go for the 7.7 meter header. I'm not sure what that is in feet. So that's another 25,000. So the hope, and we're going to get the header trailer as well. The hope originally was that we would be able to buy 2 combines. At the moment, we cannot afford 2 combines, unfortunately. But there she is in all her glory. This is really cool. I think FSG might have previewed this a little while ago, quite early on. But yeah, I'm really excited to give this a test. it has some really cool features, little decals and stuff on it that you'll see as we go through. I think Mark did a fair bit of research when he was putting it together. So yeah, I really like it. It's not what I was planning on really. I originally, because in August we'll actually open up all of the 90s. My intent was to hang on so that we could pick up a slightly newer combine possibly, but I think these are going to do an awesome job. This combine works great, so we might hang on to this for a couple of years. We'll see how it goes, but yeah, so the guys at DS Agri and I were expecting 2 combines. We've paid for 1. We're about 30 grand short, I think. So yeah, the second combine I guess will appear later on, or we could lease it. We could do lease to own on the second combine. We'll see how it goes. We'll see how it goes. We do need to get some better karting trailers as well, particularly for the bigger fence. I think probably one of the Red Rock trailers would be really nice. That's quite well matched because it will hold about 2 loads from the combine. I think the Fiat Agri actually might cope with that as well. It might be a bit big. So we'll have to have a look at a second karting trailer, but just getting the header in to the field. I thought the little Z-Tour would be a better option for manoeuvring it in to the field. So, yeah, I was really excited about this. I wanted to show this combine off properly before, but obviously we couldn't afford to purchase it before this. So here we are, and yeah, it's just nice. Just like it, you know. It fits well, particularly being from Essex, and you will see at some point on the back of the combine there is a little mention of Dagenham, where one of the major Ford factories was. There is still a Ford site there, but they don't do so much there these days, I don't think. So yeah, it's not a million miles away from where I am. Somewhere between Dagenham plant, a Ford plant in Dagenham, and a New Holland plant in another part of Essex. So yeah, there we go. Look at this lovely combine. We have a field of wheat that's ready to harvest at the moment. So the bits you can see on the bottom left on the F1 menu are to do with real dashboard. Because I don't have the dash, the digital display enabled, we don't actually get any of those outputs in the cab. That might be something we can upgrade in the future. So yeah, yeah, this is probably a good time to talk about it. So I've been doing some chat GPTing again, specifically looking at, it's a very nice cab as well, at precision farming and auto steer. So as you know, at the moment we don't have GPS on here. We aren't using many of the features of precision farming. We do imprecise farming. Well, in the 1990s, and I think more towards the late 1990s, according to ChatGPT, precision farming started to make use of GPS, and I have spoken in the past about how it made use of GPS to do things like yield monitoring. Well, it turns out as well that it was also used to do things like variable rate seeding and fertilizer application. So that does mean that once we get to August, we can start to make use of that technology. And auto steer was apparently a thing in the 90s. It does say it was very expensive. So what we are going to do, or what I want to do, and what I will be encouraging the DS Agri guys to do, is I'm going to add in guidance steering to this save when we hit August. I very rarely use guidance steering. I only use it on multiplayer, which is kind of amusing because this is sort of multiplayer, but I only use it on multiplayer with Cartech and on multiplayer with the farming agency. So we're going to add that in because that adds cost to GPS, and actually at the moment I am going to leave it at the very expensive £15,000 to add it to a vehicle, because it says GPS was really expensive. As we go further through, like I know Ollie Blogs has talked about it, Joe Seals has talked about it. These days you can get differential GPS for, you know, I think about £5,000, but back then it would have been very expensive. So we're going to pay the full whack for it, and that will enable us to add GPS to certain vehicles. Now I'm going to have to be somewhat selective, I think. Probably what I will do is pick one main tractor. Now it might be that we jump on lease to own and pick up a slightly more modern tractor in August, and we go for something that can do the seeding, the fertilizing, that kind of thing, and we get GPS on that, so that can do all of our precision farming type activities, and it's got GPS. So that's what I'm thinking for that. Curious as to what everyone else thinks. I think that's quite reasonable. I hopefully will have put up on the screen as I'm talking some of the bits that I got from ChatGPT. The bit that some of the DS Agri guys are really keen on is when did we start getting things like the Anderson bale stackers, because they do a lot of bale work and there's no auto load, and I don't yet feel that we're far enough through the decades that we could have, you know, one of the basic, you know, like an Arcusin or an Anderson bale stacker. It's proven really hard to find information on when those things were common or at least created. I'm thinking in the 2000s, so I'm thinking we'll do 2 more years without that, and then we'll be able to get the auto stacking stuff. So not magic auto load, but auto stacking stuff. There will be no magic auto load on here. So you will have just seen a flash of it. I'll show you it again later on. The combine is fairly full, so I'm going to grab the one of the Deutzes and our little grain trailer and get it emptied. So actually the field's yielding pretty well. Was very nice. So yeah, I think if I do that, probably, I mean, originally this Deutz was brought to be for DS Agri. I've kind of held on to it because I like having a pair of tractors, and it's nice. I really do need 2 loader tractors down here at the yard for doing bedding up straw and that kind of thing. So what probably I will do, and I'll have a chat with the guys, because it might be that they want to refresh some of the kit as well. And that Fiat 180 is getting pretty long in the teeth. And I'm not averse to going and doing a big bunch of lease to own with the amount of money that we've got coming in. So yeah, I think probably a lot of farmers in general, but a lot of agricultural contracting businesses, probably particularly early on, rely heavily on finance. So which is what lease to own is essentially. So yeah, it might be that we do a bit of a kit refresh. I'm not going to get rid of much particularly, because I think there's probably benefit. We've got a lot of yard space up at the contracting yard, so it's not like we can't store the tractors, so that if things grow, then we've got lots of kit. I mean, I think the most we've had on the server is probably about 4 at once, but we have had Monarchs has signed up to the Patreon, and he's keen to get involved, so it might be that we end up needing more kit to keep everyone busy. So I'm not planning really at the moment to be selling tractors. It's more that we might just semi-retire them, I think. So yeah, let's make a cut in, and this is where having GPS would be nice. I would be very surprised if some of the money that DS Agri earns doesn't go towards adding GPS to a few more vehicles. The Big Fent is obviously a good candidate for that, with it's used for quite a lot of the grass work that those guys have been doing with their big mowers. So yeah, it's just a really nice looking combine. It fits so, and you can just see on the back, I think, not very well, made in Dagenham, which is what I was talking about. Yeah, I think most of the decals that are on here are things that are somewhat realistic. So yeah, you will see now these the boxes coming up for, I think they're the worker coalitions and stuff like that. So that is an update that is needed. I'm sure Mark will get that sorted. So yeah, doesn't stop the combine working well. Yeah, really nice bit of kit. Really nice bit of kit. We have a full grain trailer, so actually the yield off of this was really nice. We're only going to get the harvest done today, so next episode and probably next game day we'll be getting the straw baled and stacked up. I sold. It's a really bad YouTuber trait, I think. I can say we in this because quite often there is more than one of us involved. But I do find that quite a weird YouTuber trait that they that we, as in the collection of people that is YouTubers, say we quite a lot when they mean I. So yeah, that's a weird one. I think it's a few bigger creators say it, and I think the rest of us probably picked it up from them. So yeah. When I say we on here, generally I mean we, as in me and the people involved in the multiplayer. So that's one that someone picked me up on yesterday, and it is something that I do, but it is a little pet peeve that yeah, it does kind of bug me that I use it, let alone anyone else does. So grass is growing in quite nicely, so we've got plenty for feeding the cows. The grazing area is providing enough to keep those cows fed. So I'm keeping an eye on that. If it ever gets so that there's not enough grass there, then I'll take some hay or some silage over. We've got so much grass silage. I am seriously considering selling some of the grass silage. A little bit of a scratch on the new paint there. Sorry, guys. But one of the things that I am thinking is when the maize silage is ready, or when the maize is ready to silage, probably what I'll do is I'll add in the bunker silo mod that lets you uncover the clamp, and probably we will uncover last year's and add this year's on top. And just in case, I'm really hesitant to just sell it all, so I think we'll do that. That's not uncommon, I believe, for farmers to do that kind of thing. So that's what I'm going to do. I guess it's uncommon that they have that much excess silage. I've been watching, I've shared a couple of videos from them recently, a bit of Cow Farmer Dan, and they have pretty much run out of forage this year, to the point that they plant a fair bit of wheat, I think it is, for straw. And I think they might use the grain for feed as well. So they plant a fair bit of their own wheat. And they have said that this year that's all going to silage, so they're going to be whole cropping that. So they're playing with Maize Plus, clearly. They're making some whole crop silage. Whereas, you know, and I think that's a function of the year they had last year in farming. We've had a pretty generous year with our farming. I do think, and I'm pretty sure from talking to people that know, the grass yields in Farm Sim are very high. So yeah, we do have a lot of silage. I think the time-saving stock check says we're at about 600,000 litres of silage, maybe 500,000 litres of silage, and a similar amount of hay. So we are not short of feed. What I might end up doing is, depending on prices and stuff, I might mix it up as TMR and sell it. So we will see. I really could do with getting a bigger slurry pit put in. I've got one in mind. We've probably got space for it, probably where the bales and the two seeders are. And we could just really do with extra space for storing the slurry that we produce. We produce a lot of slurry, so yeah. Cracking through the harvest. I did start talking about it, and I did say that I would finish the conversation. So the Giants alphabet. If you use ModHub through Giants website, and I'll try and remember to grab a screenshot to stick in the edit. I'm just waiting for it to load up. That's the wrong website that I am trying to load. So I generally download mods off of the Giants website. I prefer it that way. And if you want to look for a particular category and you select category, someone explained to me the logic of the list that's on the screen now. I do not understand Giants alphabet at all. It is a nightmare to find stuff, and I use this regularly and I still don't understand where things are. So yeah, if someone would like to explain either to me how Giants alphabet works, or to Giants how the alphabet works, or maybe some more logical characterization or categorization of stuff, then that would make my life much easier. Thank you very much. Yeah, it's one that's been bugging me for a while, and I started talking about it in the last Greenlands video, I think, and I got distracted by something else. So yeah, pretty much done with the harvest. I think we've got about 3 and a bit rows left, so really pleased with how quickly we've got through this. So I've not been progressing time too quickly, because I do like to give the guys that get the multiplayer on this time to play. I did leave it on ×1 last time and that worked okay, so that's what we're going to be doing again. If it feels like things are still going too slowly, then we'll up it a bit. If it feels like it's going too quickly, we'll knock it down a bit. I was concerned that I think we can get this in a 1 if I'm careful. I was concerned that, you know, the number of contracts that we're getting through was bringing in too much cash, but we've brought 1 combine and we're done. I would like to purchase a forage harvester. We have our own maize that we're harvesting, and I want to try and set up a couple of runs, if we can work out the logistics and stuff, of doing some multiplayer silage contracting. Obviously you can't do silage contracts from things like maize in the game. Oh, damn it. We're also full, which I completely missed. So yeah, that didn't work quite as well as I was hoping. Yeah, so you can't do maize silage contracts in the game explicitly, but we're going to manipulate things so we can, because I think it'll be fun if I can get, you know, 2, 3 or 4 of us on the server at the same time and do a reasonable size silage harvest. So yeah, I would like to. I've got my eye on one of the older Jaguar forage harvesters. So they're not insanely can cost about the same as the combine probably. So not awful, but I'm less concerned about the amount of cash that the guys are generating. So yeah, and say we end up, or they end up, not we. It's probably going to be them. I do try and get on the server occasionally, but it just doesn't always work. And if I do, I try and grab bits of footage like you saw earlier, because I think it's kind of cool to mix it in. They have a lot of harvest contracts to do, so I think, you know, realistically, having 2 combines is going to be useful. Although, if they choose to bale all the straw, then that's going to keep them quite busy as well. Trailers are needed. Maybe another, you know, and the Deutz could probably handle a slightly bigger trailer. The Fendt probably could, so I might just leave it to them to pick from what's installed. There aren't that many trailers installed, so yeah, I have had a bit of a clear out of mods on here. I had essentially some duplicates, so I had some branded and then some stuff that was actual brand, and then also the lizard version installed. So I've got rid of those. There's a few other mods that I had installed that were either options when I was doing things, or things that I no longer think that I need, so I've knocked some of those out as well. So the mod list is a little bit smaller. I do need to go through and update a bunch of them as well, but the last time I did that I had massive issues getting the server back online, so we'll see whether I do that or not. I'm really bad at updating mods. I'm really bad at it. If I've got a stable save and there isn't a feature that I really want, I won't update, if I'm honest. I will update the game, but not mods. So yeah, this map was fine after the update. Green Valley, Nebraska, I had to fix. Obviously, that was the video that I did. I used that map to fix it because that seemed like a really easy way of getting the map fixed and a hugely popular video. Yeah, that was cool. Didn't expect it to be that popular. But, hey, sometimes things go well. So we have a tiny strip of shame left to grab. And then we'll be done. And I say the yield was really good on here. I don't have the yield map up, but just in terms of the volume of crop that we got, I was really happy. So yeah, it was pretty good. I am going to say thank you to the patrons and the YouTube channel members. At this point, I've mentioned a few patrons a few times as we've gone through. If you're interested in any of that, there are links below. So check it out if you want. If you don't worry. So, yeah, it's been a good harvest. It's been a good harvest. I think we've got a while to wait now. So we've got the in May we planted the soybeans, the corn, and sugar beets. And sugar beets are off into autumn. The beans and the corn, I'm not sure, but they're obviously going to be a few months away, which is why I'm kind of stretching this one field out. I will probably try and get involved in some of the harvest contracts as well. I think typically in July, that's kind of what I've been doing on here is harvesting contracts. So it'd be nice to get a little bit, or maybe an episode that is us doing some multiplayer harvesting contracts. I think that'd be fun. Right, we'll see how that goes. But that's harvest. Well, wheat harvest. Year 3 done. So this is the third. Well, it's the third harvest on here. This is the end of the second year that we've been playing. Obviously, you get that first harvest in when you start in August. But yeah, nice and early because we do get the crop in the ground very early. I need to think about a planting plan. I'm wondering. I don't want to do more grass cover crop. I'm wondering if there's something we could plant. Actually, suggestions below, because we can play with the growth calendar. Is there something we could plant in July that would be planted in the UK that would grow enough to get something off it? I'm wondering whether we go for like a grain crop and try and mow it in autumn. I'd have to mess around with the growth calendar a bit, but what do you reckon? And maybe a grain crop and get a bit of whole crop silage off it if it'll grow enough in, we've got July, August, September, 3 months of growth of a grain crop. I'm curious. Let me know what you think. So 34,000 litres of wheat off the field. That is pretty nice. We just need to get stuff put away, and I need to send the combine up to DS Agri now. Transfer it across to those guys so they've got access to it to get stuck into contracts. I might have to send the trailer up as well. I need to go and get the baler from them because they have both of my balers at the moment. Or our balers. They have both of our balers at the moment, so I do need to go and grab the square baler when I'm ready to bale the straw up. So I'm not going to bother trailering it. I'll just take it from the field direct to the shed. Yeah, really nice bit of kit this. So it's by Mark Thor. He is intending to get it on to Mod Hub, so keep your eye out for it. It's probably going to be on his Discord as well. I don't know if it is yet. So yeah, it's really nice. Not sure why I'm driving up the field. There we go. I know. I want to hook it onto the back of the combine, which turns out to be a fun little exercise, because I've got the straw thingy on the back down. Technical term, straw thingy. I learned that thingy is a technical farming term last night on the multiplayer server with the farming agency guys. So thingy is definitely a technical term. Paul was a farmer, so thingy, technical term. So yeah, I'm just going to spend a bit of time folding things, unfolding things, raising and lowering things until I can get the trailer attached. And then we are going to send the combine off to DS Agri because I don't need it for a while. The only thing we're going to have to harvest is the soybeans later on. So, yeah. That's not going to work. That's not going to work. You want to fold that up. There we go. That should clear. Yeah, that'll be fine. Right. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, click the like button. Comments, questions, or suggestions below. And I will see you guys next time on Maypole Farm.